Christianity, the home for white supremacists, the real Jews, black. Jesus Christ was a nigga, we scholars in the scriptures. Fuck your false doctrine. I'm a gangster, I can't go to church, they false prophets. I face the east and pray towards the sun. Fuck your peace and I don't need your love. I'm gonna have slaves when the kingdom come. I see my adversaries teaming up, but they ain't ready for war. And if they is, we gon' bring it to them. I'm through the pages reading Obadiah. Look, white man the devil, he for sure a liar. Can't trust the snake, Jesus called them vipers. How you love everybody when we the ones dying? I'm bloodthirsty, pray my enemies drop dead. Don't do nothing God say, but won't forget. And it's for they sins. Niggas hypocrites. I just want slaughter and revenge. A sword and a crown they give my kids. Home of the truth. You ain't in this house. I was lost in the world, but I get it now. I got niggas sitting down who ain't getting out. You ain't ready for a baby, but don't kill your child. Home of the truth. You ain't in this house. I was lost in the world, but I get it now. I got niggas sitting down who ain't getting out. You ain't ready for a baby, but don't kill your child. And I can never be a Muslim cause they worship rocks. If you don't serve the Most High, then you curse my God. Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shah Barakatah. Kwam Yashala, shield the king, thou would die. I got wisdom from the prophets, I ain't without. I'm in the belly of the beast trying to make it out. I know the truth, so I can't transgress the law. For a long time, was a rebel without a cause. I was called by the Lord. I feel like the poor man when a dog licked his swords. They ain't from my neighborhood, but I own all the stores. A church on every corner and my niggas still destroyed. We living in a time where your murder get recorded. Men of the Lord still prisoners of war. I got a Glock, but brotherhood the real weapon. You practice Kemet at my yacht, but it's still pagan. Home of the truth, you ain't in this house. I was lost in the world, but I get it now. I got niggas sitting down who ain't getting out. You ain't ready for a baby, but don't kill your child. Home of the truth, you ain't in this house. I was lost in the world, but I get it now. I got niggas sitting down who ain't getting out. You ain't ready for a baby, but don't kill your child.
And Shalom Israel, Yahbashim Yahshai, Barakatham to the brothers, Yahshim Arlatham, Bashim Yahshai to the sisters. I'm Priest Officer Parak to my right. It's Priest Officer Razan. We're holding down the Sabbath service, weekly Sabbath service for the ISUPK out of Arizona. If you're watching online, you can see at the very bottom of the screen our class schedule, which is every Tuesday through Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. And then every Saturday, we hold our Sabbath service, which is today, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. All right. So today, if you're tuning in online, you can see the title of today's class, which is we're going to go over Psalms, the 64th chapter, specifically focusing in on the counsel that, or the hidden or secret counsel of our oppressor. You understand? And today's class, really, we're just going to kind of go over a lot of what David was going through at this time. We're going to get the history on what was happening to David at the time that he wrote this song. And we're also going to apply it to today, which is what the entire Bible is. The entire Bible, most of the things that you find in the Bible were happening when they were being written. And then you can also apply those same today, right? So we're just going, we're going to go through it and we're going to get all of that. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. So just men up here, I might do to stand. All right, everybody else, I imagine, Wapanya Godam, which means to stand and face the east. I'll read. We're going to begin with the prayers, beginning with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa,
Abanawa,
Shabbat Shemayim,
Shabbat Shemayim,
Kodash,
Kodash,
Hayat,
Hayat,
Shamka,
Shamka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Malakwaka,
Malafaka,
Taba'a,
Taba'a,
Ratazaka,
Ratazaka,
Hayat,
Hayat,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Ba'arataza,
Barataza,
Kawa,
Kawa,
Hayat,
Hayat,
Bashamayim,
Bashamayim,
Nathalanawa,
Bathonyanawa,
Makam,
Makam,
Call your worm,
Call you one,
Wasalakanawa,
Wasalakinawa,
Kawabwatnawa,
Kawabwatnawa,
Kasalaknawa,
Kasalaknawa,
Kawabwatinawa,
Kawabwatnawa,
Wala'a,
Wala'a,
Tabayanawa,
Tabayanawa,
Manasai one,
Manasai one,
Abal,
Abal,
Hawashinawa,
Bashinawa,
Mayan,
Mayan,
Raikaya,
Raikaya,
Laka,
Laka,
Amalakwa,
Amalakwa,
Waha'ala,
Waha'ala,
Wathapara,
Watapara,
La'aiwalamyu,
Dawalanya, a month. The Lord's Prayer in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh. Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done.
Thy will be done.
In earth, as it is in heaven.
As it is in heaven.
Give us this day.
Give us this day.
Our daily bread.
Our daily bread.
Forgive us our debts.
And forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
Lead us not into temptation.
And lead us not into temptation.
Deliver us from evil.
But deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom.
For thine is the kingdom.
And the power.
And the power.
And the glory.
And the glory.
Forever.
Forever.
So be it.
So be it. We're going to read the Hakak, or the power, in the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Vashem Yahushai.
Vashem Yahushai.
Babu Kushah.
Babu Kushah.
Nathalanawa.
Nathanawa.
Hakak.
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 Larafa'ah.
Rafa'ah.
Call Maka'ala.
Call Maka'ala.
Wakal Madawa.
Call Madawa.
Hakak Latahar.
Hakak Latahar.
Hamatazariah.
Matazariah.
Hakak Lakwayam.
Hakak Latayim.
Hamathim.
Hamathim.
Hakak.
Hakak.
Arakawa.
Arakawa.
Hatama'ala.
Hatama'ala.
Lagarshan.
Lagarshan.
Vashem Yahushai.
Vashem Yahushai. Duaraman. The Hakak power in English. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushai.
In the name of Yahushai.
Please give us the power.
Please give us the power.
The power to heal all manner of sickness.
The power to heal all manner of sickness.
And all manner of disease.
And all manner of disease.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to raise the dead.
The power to raise the dead.
The power against unclean spirits.
The power against unclean spirits.
To cast them out.
To cast them out.
In the name of Yahushai.
In the name of Yahushai.
Thank you, so be it.
Thank you, so be it. All right, we're going to read Psalms, the 121st chapter, beginning with the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayanya, Ahaharya, Ma'ayan, Yaba'ah, Isaiah, Ma'an, Yahweh, Aisha, Shamayam, Warataza, Ayathan, Lamawat, Regalka, Ayanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yayashan, Shalmar, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al-Yad, Yamyanka, Yawamam, Hashamak, La'a, Yakaka, Wayarak, Walayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makal Rai, Yashamar, Athnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Shaza'afka, Wabah, Wa'aka, Ma'aitha, Wa'ai,
I will know. Psalms 121 in the English. I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
I will lift up mine eyes into the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from Yahweh.
My help cometh from Yahweh.
Which made heaven and earth.
Which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee.
He that keepeth thee.
Will not slumber.
Will not slumber.
Behold, he that keepeth Israel.
He that keepeth Israel.
Shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day.
The sun shall not smite thee by day.
Nor the moon by night.
Nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out.
And thy coming in.
And thy coming in.
From this time forth.
From this time forth.
And even forevermore.
And even forevermore. Psalms the 83rd chapter in the Hebrew. Alahayim, Aldamayalaka, Al Thakarash, Wa Al Tashakwat, Al Kayahana, Awa Yabika, Yahamaya 1, Ra'ash, Amaka, Yara Yamwa, Sawada, Wayatha, Yaitazaw, Altazapawanya, Amarwa, Lakawa, Wanakakidam, Magalia, Wala'a, Yazakar, Sham Yasha'al, Awada, Kaya, Nawa Aitazaw, Labat, Yakadwa, Alyaka, Barya, Yakarafwa, Ahalya, Adawam, Yashamai Aliyah, Mawa Abu, Bagarya, Gabal, I'm a one.
I'm a one.
I'm a lot.
I'm a lot.
Palashat.
Palashat.
I'm Yeshavi.
I Yeshavi.
Tazawar.
Tazawar.
Gamashawar.
Gamashawar.
Nalawa.
Nalawa.
Imam.
Imam.
Hayawa.
Hayawa.
Zarawai.
Zarawai.
Labanya Lawat.
Bun Lawat.
Salat.
Salat.
Ashalaham.
Shalaham.
Kamagi.
Kamagi.
Kasaya.
Kasaya.
Shara'a.
Sara'ah.
Kayabi.
Kayabi.
Manakal.
Manakal.
Wayashwan.
Kayash.
Nashamagu.
Mashimagu.
Ba'ayan.
Ba'ayan.
Da'ara.
Da'ara.
Ayawa.
Ayawa.
Daman.
Daman.
La'adama.
Adama.
That's like it. Shayatamwa.
Shatamwa.
Nada.
Nada.
Yamawa.
Nada.
Ka'ira.
Ka'ira.
Wakaza Abu.
Kaza Abu.
Wakaza Bak.
Kaza Ba.
Wakatazal.
Katazal.
Mana'ai.
Mana'ai.
Call.
Call.
Nasaya Kamwa.
Yasir Kamwa.
Ashar.
Ashar.
Amarwa.
Amarwa.
Le'arashah.
Narashah.
Lanawa.
Lanawa.
Ah.
Ah.
Na'awat.
Na'awat.
Allahaya.
Alahai.
Allahaya.
Alahai.
Shayatamwa.
Shaitamwa.
Kagagala.
Kagagala.
Kakwash.
Kakwash.
Lapanya Rakah.
Rakat.
Ka'ash.
Ka'ash.
Ta'aib. Taba'ira.
Taba'ira.
Ya'ira.
Ya'ira.
Wakala Haba.
Wakal Haba.
Talahat.
Talahat.
Arayam.
Arayam.
Khan.
Khan.
Taradapma.
Dadatma.
Basa Irika.
That's Irika.
Wabasa.
Babasa.
Wapatka.
Pathi.
Tabahalam.
Tabahalam.
Mala'a.
Mala'at.
Panyaham.
Panyaham.
Palawan.
Palawan.
Wayabakwashwa.
Wayabakushwa.
Shamka.
Shamkat.
Yahawa.
Yahaw.
Yabashwa.
Rabashwa.
Wayabahawa.
Wayabahaw.
Aya'ai.
Adi'ai.
Wayakaparwa.
Wayakapar.
Wayabagwa.
Wayabagwa.
Wayada'aiwa.
Wayada'aiwa.
Kayatha.
Kayata.
Shamka.
Shimkat.
Yahawa.
Yahaw.
Labaka.
Labaka.
Ayawan.
Ayawan.
Alkar.
Akar. Alright. Psalm 83 in English. Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still, O Yahweh.
And be not still, O Yahweh.
For lo,
For lo,
thine enemies make a tumult.
thine enemies make a tumult.
They that hate thee lift up the head.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
They are taking crafty counsel against thy people.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
They consulted against thy hidden ones.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
They have said,
They have said,
Come,
Come,
let us cut them off from being a nation.
let us cut them off from being a nation.
That the name of Israel
That the name of Israel
may be no more remembered.
may be no more remembrance.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee.
Tabernacles of Edom
The tabernacles of Edom.
and the Ishmaelites.
And the Ishmaelites.
Of Moab.
Of Moab.
And the Hagarenes.
And the Hagarenes.
Gabal.
Gabal.
And Ammon.
And Ammon.
And Amalek.
And Amalek.
And the Philistines.
The Philistines.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
Ashur also has joined with them.
So also is joined with them.
They are hoping the children of Lot.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
Salah.
Salah.
Do unto them
Do unto them
as unto the Midianites.
as unto the Midianites.
As to Sisera.
As to Sisera.
As to Jabin.
As to Jabin.
At the brook of Kison.
At the brook of Kissar.
Which perished at Endor.
Which perished that endure.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
With the nobles like a red.
Make their nobles like a red.
And like Zaed.
And like Zaed.
Yea.
Yea.
All the princes as Sabah.
All their princes as Zabah.
And as Zamunah.
And as Amunah.
Who said,
Who said,
let's take to ourselves
let us take to ourselves
the houses of Yahweh in possession.
the houses of Yahweh in possession.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Make them like a wheel.
Make them like a wheel.
As the stubble before the wind.
As the stubble before the wind.
As the fire burneth the wood.
As the fire burneth the wood.
As the flames set the mountains on fire.
As the flames set the mountains on fire.
So persecute them with thy tempest.
So persecute them with thy tempest.
Make them afraid with thy storm.
And make them afraid with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame.
Fill their faces with shame.
That they may seek thy name.
That they may see thy name.
Oh Yahweh.
Oh Yahweh.
Let them be confounded and troubled forever.
Let them be confounded in trouble forever.
Yea.
Yea.
Let them be put to shame and perish.
Let them be put to Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Throughout our month.
Blessing in the English. Bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahweh Shai.
And Yahweh Shai.
And Michael.
And Michael.
And the angels.
And the angels.
Commanding General Yohanan.
Commanding General Yohanan.
The generals.
The general.
The captain.
The captain.
The officers.
The officers.
The troopers.
The troopers.
And the assistant.
And the assistant.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Your name Yahweh Shai.
The name Yahweh Shai.
Thank you. So be it.
Thank you. So be it. All right. Sorry while you're shouting. We can be seated. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna read first. Let me fix this frankincense. We're gonna read the 64th chapter of Psalms. So Psalm the 64th chapter. But first, of course, as per tradition, we're gonna read it in the Hebrew. We'll read 7 verses in the Hebrew, and then we'll read it in the English. We'll break it down. We'll get the full understanding of it. All right. So Psalm 64, you're going to read verses 1 through 7 in the Hebrew.
Okay. Psalms 64, verse 1 in Hebrew. Lamana Tazaka Mazama War La Dawada verse Shemai Alahayim Kwawayim Basha Yak Wa Miya Mapakat Awa Yab that's fuck it. Tazar Kayaya, verse 3. Dasa Daya Dasa Yaran Ya Masawat Marayang Marai Gashath Pa'aya Awan, verse 4. Ashar Shanan Wa Kaka Rob Lasha Wa Lasha verse 4.
Lashawanam.
Lashawanam Darak Wa Katazam Dabar Mar, verse 5. Layarath Bama Sath Slaki Mamasatarium Come it's like a thumb Pata it's like Pata Yara Wa Allah Yaya Ra'awa, verse 6. Yaka Yakazak Wa Lamwa Dabar Rai just a par what Lata Latum one Mawa Quash Young Amarwa Maya Yara Ya'ara so Yara'a Lamwa verse 7 Yaka Pashwa Awala it's like the mom wa Kapash ma Kapash Wakwa Rab Ayash Walab Amat 7 verses.
All right. So now what we're going to do, we're going to read them same 7 verses from Psalm 64. We're going to read those into English, and we're going to break it down. All right. Once again, and here's the thing about before we read this, right? I want everybody to get into the mindset of the truth about the Bible, okay? Because the Bible, all of these things that were written, they were never written directly to you. And like Christianity and religion has made the Bible a fairy tale and something that just applies to everybody. You understand? When David was writing what we're about to read, we're going to find out that he wrote a lot of these Psalms, especially the Psalms. Christians love the Psalms. A lot of these Psalms that he wrote, he was on the run from King Saul. You understand? Because King Saul wanted his head, wanted to kill him because he was jealous. Because King Saul was a wicked bastard. You understand? So a lot of what we read here, all right, is David basically writing songs about the plight that he was going through. A lot of times when people read this Bible, the book of Isaiah, Ezekiel, and then a lot of the Christians, they're going to like the book of Ephesians or Colossians. Those books were written to a certain people for a certain purpose. And I'm not just talking about the Israelites in general. I'm talking about a group of Israelites. And so when we read this, just understand that David was not necessarily writing these things so that way you could read it and say what you want to say about it. He was writing these things, most of these were a prayer to the Lord. You understand? And so when we read this, just keep that in mind. All right. So we're going to read Psalm 64, and we're going to start at the first verse.
Okay. Look at Psalms chapter 64, verse 1 in English. Hear my voice, O God. In my prayer, preserve my life from fear of the enemy.
From fear of the enemy. Keep going.
Okay. Verse 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked.
From the what?
From the wicked.
From the secret counsel of the wicked. That's what David was praying. Now, once again, we're going to take what's being said here, just like I said at the beginning of the Sabbath service. We're going to take what's being said here, and we're going to be able to apply it to ourselves today. You understand? And we're going to do it in a way that's practical, right? Now, David, once again, he was on the run from Saul, and Saul, he was a wicked piece of garbage. And we're going to learn about a man named Doeg. All right. There's a man named Doeg. He was an Edomite, and he tried to get David killed by telling Saul where David was. Right. Saul was in, I want to say cahoots. That sounds weird, but I guess you could say he was in cahoots with a lot of the other nations in his practices. You understand? And that's, of course, you go into the story of Saul, it's ridiculous. He went to go see soothsayers and all types of things. You know what I'm saying? And David is praying to the Most High for protection against these wicked bastards that are trying to have him killed. Okay, so let's keep that in mind, right? Keep going. Okay.
From the insurrection of the workers of iniquity.
From the insurrection, like an insurrection is like a wild crowd of evil people that are trying to put somebody to death. Give me Psalms the 83rd chapter. We just read Psalms the 83rd chapter for the prayers, right? But we're going to we're gonna go into that, and we're gonna examine it a little bit further. Just a few verses out of the 83rd chapter, and we're gonna see, because once again, these are all writings that David wrote, right? While he was not all of them, but these that we're reading right now are writings that David wrote when he was fighting for his life, right? Let's read Psalms 83 and 2.
Psalms 83 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, book of Psalms chapter 83, verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
So now it says, lo, thine enemies make a tumult. That's the same thing as an insurrection. It's the same thing that David just said in 64th chapter of Psalms. All right. And now he's praying again to the Most High. If you notice, David prayed to the Most High damn near the same way every time. He always prayed for the destruction of his enemies and prayed that he would not be caught up in the snare that his enemies laid out for him. Right. So David, once again, and this is a good to understand the prayer that we pray every Sabbath service, right? In the 83rd chapter of Psalms, said, thine enemies make a tumult, right? And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Keep going.
Come on. Verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel.
They have taken what?
Crafty counsel.
Crafty counsel. You understand? Crafty counsel. Now, this was happening in the time of David. It's happened after that, and it's happening now. You understand? That crafty counsel that you see that David is referring to is the same thing that's happening right now today. I'm going to explain that crafty counsel, because remember, in Psalms the 64th chapter, he said what? Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. That secret counsel, that crafty counsel is all of the same thing, right? Keep going.
Come on. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 4. They have said, come, let's cut them off from being a nation.
Now David wrote this in the time of, well, of course, in the time of David, in the time of the kings, in the time of the chronicles, right? He wrote this back then. So who is he talking about? Who could he possibly be talking about? That's why we pray this prayer every Saturday for the Sabbath service, because he's talking about the other nations. Like the other nations, and we're going to read about it. The other nations had, especially with Saul, I mean, God damn, he hired these other nations to do work for him, and he took on all of their ideologies. And the reason why Saul was the way he was because of the influence of the other nations. And that's what you have today. Today you have our black leaders, the people that are supposed to be, protecting us and looking out for us. They're the ones that are influenced by the other nations of people, by white people. White people and our oppressor, right? They have, their nature is to be evil. Like that's why the scriptures say what? The wicked are estranged from the womb. Their nature is to be. I was having a conversation about this last night. Not you being black and Hispanic, you might just think to see the good in everybody because that's kind of how we naturally are. Naturally, because we are naturally a righteous people. Naturally, without the influence of others, you start to look at other people and you might say, well, I see the good in this person, but not everybody is naturally righteous like Israelites. So you might look at it and say, yeah, we all naturally righteous and things like that. But the thing about our oppressor is naturally evil. He's naturally evil. He's naturally unrighteous. And you're going to, if you allow yourself to, you're going to be influenced by him and you're going to do the same thing that Saul did. You understand? He's going to say something?
No, sorry, not right now.
Okay. Peaceable people, says absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Peaceable.
Right?
Right.
Go ahead.
You
want to say? It's like if I can.
Yeah.
The way the world looks at it, it's backwards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you like if I can, I just did a show on, I think it was on Stars, Showtime, one of those channels, right? Called American Gods. And then the actor can't remember his name, he's a black actor. He may be in a lot of movies though. But he in the show he played an African god, and they were consulted with other so-called African gods, right? Right. About the plight of black people. And one of the lines he said that kind of stuck out to me says, the world sees the way the world sees it, a black man doing good, just a dog waiting to do bad. So when black people seen as bad. So when he does something good, it's all good. But when he does something bad, that's just his true nature. Right. Versus the way they see white people, like the white man is always just naturally good. But when he does something bad, he just had a bad day.
That's heavy that you say that, because the book of Isaiah talks about that. Woe to them that put evil for good and good for evil. It's flipped backwards. Black people are painted as evil and terrible. You understand? And then white people are painted as these holy, righteous people. And that's the narrative. You know what I'm saying? And so just to bring it back to the point, that's the narrative that's being pushed. And we fall for it every time. Every time we fall for it. Even the men that have the greatest power, men that could actually do something, to fix black people. You had men like Saul. Saul was in charge of the nation of Israel. He was the king over the nation of Israel. But he allowed the influence of the other nations, you understand, to make him an evil bastard that no man should trust. You understand? And that's the nature of the other nations. And so when we follow after them, we become like them. And now we can't be trusted. That's why you think, we're going to get into it in just a minute, but you think and look around and see black people, murdering each other at excessive rates. You understand? And you just have to think for a second, where do we get that from? And so like I said, we'll get that in just a second. We'll break that all the way down. All right. One thing before we do move on, what I will say, and I don't want to get too far off track, but I want everybody to understand everything is our oppressor's fault. Everything. I don't care what it is. If a black man beats his wife, it's the white man's fault. You understand? Because where did he learn it from? If a black man is getting high, doing dope, selling dope, who did he learn that from? Who gave him the dope? You understand? Who gave him that? Where do we find it? Listen, cocaine, I don't know if you guys know anything about this. Cocaine is not made in America. You understand? And it doesn't get here by way of black people, right? Just understand something. Our nature, the nature that we've taken on is not our own. You understand? But we'll get that in just a second. I'm gonna show y'all, but let's just keep reading, right? We read what? Psalms 83?
Concept.
Okay. So now that's the crafting. Now this, I'm glad we can give me Genesis. I'm glad that we just read that, right? And I'm glad that we said all of those things because now we're going to understand something about our oppressor. All right, we're going to understand his nature. Once again, we just broke down his nature is naturally to be evil, right? So we're going to get Genesis the 3rd chapter, and we're going to talk about something because what kind of counsel did David say that our oppressor had? Crafty counsel. You understand? Crafty, witty, cunning. Right? Let's get Genesis 3 and 1.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
Now, when you go and you look at that word, you go down and you look into that into the Hebrew, that word means cunning. That's what it means. Cunning, witty. You understand? That's what that word means. And that's what that serpent was. The serpent was cunning. And we'll see how he talks to Eve. Now, it doesn't take, rocket science to figure out that this is not talking about a snake. This is talking about a man with the characteristics of a snake, low down. Understand? People always say you got to cut the grass to what? To see the snakes? Is that what they say? Yeah. You got to cut the grass. Why? Because those snakes is hiding in that grass. They're cunning. You understand? And that's the same thing that this man was doing. He had the same characteristics of a snake. He was coming off as, I'm trying to help you out, sis. Right? We're going to do that's heavy, and we're gonna understand why in just a second. Right? Read that from the top and keep going.
Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made. He said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, ye should not eat of every tree of the garden?
So here we see him already challenging what the Most High said to this woman, and really to her husband, which her husband talked to her, right? And what the serpent is trying to do here is trying to make this woman leave her culture. And that's exactly what the white man does today. Our oppressor does the same thing today. He gets our people, our men and our women, to leave our natural culture to be like them. Right. You understand? To be murderers. Once again, we are naturally, and you talk to black people and they will tell you this. They will tell you, the main people that say, well, we don't need a law to tell us not to murder, because we should already know that. Yeah, we do. But our oppressor needs that law. They need somebody to tell them, hey, man, you cannot pick up that AR-15 and kill all of these people in this grocery store. You need somebody to tell you that that's wrong. You understand? We need these laws, statutes, and commandments. We need these things because naturally, for us, we understand. We have black people and Hispanic people have compassion, naturally, but our oppressor doesn't. Our oppressor is born with a heart made of stone, and it's ice cold. You understand? Okay. And that's why in the scriptures it says, when the righteous are in authority, the people will rejoice. Because when we get our chance to rule this place, when we get our chance to rule the entire earth, the whole earth will be rejoicing. But in that same scripture, it says what?
The wicked are ruled
the people mourn. When the wicked are in rulership, the people mourn. What's happening right now in the entire earth? Everybody is mourning right now. What just happened? You understand? Listen, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it once, and I'm going to leave it the hell alone. What happened at that school down there in Texas, that would never happen in the kingdom of God. Not run by us. Even now, if that city was run by Commanding General Yohana, nobody would be able to get into them goddamn doors. You understand? Why? Because when the righteous are in rulership, the people, and there would have been one dead person. That would have been that man running in there with that gun, trying to get through that door. He'd have been the only dead one. And them brothers and sisters that lost their children, they would still have their children today. But because the wicked are in rulership, nobody's protecting these kids. You understand? And General Muhammad says something, I'm gonna get off of it, but General Muhammad says something that's extremely important for all of us to understand when it comes to that, and when it comes to any tragedy that our people experience. we got to do better. Us here in the UPK, we got to do better. Meaning, we are the ones that could have done better. We could have reached the people in that town. That man, I believe he was a brother. That man was suffering from some sort of ridiculous trauma. You understand? We should have done better. We could have done something. And so what that should tell you is we have to build the place where people's children don't die. That's what we got to do. We're going to have to build the type of place even before Christ comes. It can happen. We have to build the type of place that people's children do not die. They don't get murdered by men with guns. You understand? That's the type of place that we're going to have to create right now. That's what this is about. You understand? You want to say something?
Like again, just like seen Commander Johanna's show on Wednesday when he put out saying that we should have our own gated communities.
Yeah.
That we like some of these areas that we have right now in the cities, like some of them should be gated off. So that way you can't just come up here and do what you want. That way people are safe in these communities. Nobody's going to be able to just come into that community and go to a school and shoot it up, or go to a grocery store and shoot it up.
Yeah.
Those type of places that we should be building.
And one thing that would help, one thing that I really want to understand, I want everybody to understand is you should learn this. And remember how I just said earlier, everything is our oppressor's fault? Even though that was probably a brother that shot all them kids up, that was because of white people. That's what that was. Everything, and I'm telling you this because I know it, everything is our oppressor's fault. We're going to find, once again, we're going to keep reading through these scriptures. By the end of this Sabbath service, you're going to understand, damn, anything that a black person does wrong is because the white man taught them how to do it. You think that man that in there and shot all them kids up, he just, he did it because, he just kind of felt like it one day. He got that idea from Columbine. He got that idea from, what's that cat's name? Peyton Gendron. He got that idea from him. He got that idea from Andy Hood. He got that idea from all of the white people that went and shot up all of those places. Now a Mexican man thinks he could do the same thing. Now, all of them white people that shot up all them places, they still alive. They in prison, yeah, but they still alive. That man goes and does it because he thinks he can do it too, and which all of them, I don't give a damn who you are. You deserve to be put to death. You understand? But that man learned from those white people that, hey, I can go into a school. I can come into this school just like the man did in Sandy Hook, and I can shoot up all of these kids, which is such a cowardice thing to do. I hate it. I hate even talking about it. It damn near brings me to tears. But what I will tell you is it's still our oppressor's fault, even though a Mexican man did it. You understand? Let's keep reading.
Okay.
And if I could, that's part of the crafty counsel. The crafty counsel is the fact that we are learning from them. On our part, it's not purposely. On our part, we're just learning. Everybody learns from what they see around them. I'll tell you a story. Yesterday, it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. My daughter's only 3 years old, and she's watching on her tablet some show or something like that. And she come over to me and she want me to watch the tablet with her. So, I tell her, yeah, I'll watch it with you. And so I'm sitting down in the bed, right? And I put my hand on my face like this, and I'm watching the tablet. And she look up at me, and she looks back at the tablet, and she takes her hand and she does the same thing that I'm doing. That's how children are. That's the nature of people. Period. I'm saying chill, but grown people do that same thing. People mimic. I study behavioral health, right? People mimic body behavior all the time. So now think about the things that our oppressor is teaching us through movies, through these video games. Listen, General Muhammad broke it smooth down, and it's ridiculous. In video games, I never looked at GTA, Grand Theft Auto, that game. I never looked at it like that until Thursday. Until Thursday, General Muhammad's scripture breakdown class. You can be a mass murderer in Grand Theft Auto. I never looked at it like that until it was put into perspective. You play that game and you can run over as many people as you want, blow people up, shoot every goddamn, but shoot old ladies. I mean, goddamn, it's ridiculous. We don't see nothing wrong with that. You said what?
Fight the military in that game.
You can fight the military in that game. Like, we don't see nothing wrong with that. We let our children play those types of games. Think about it. You understand? Yeah. And so now, why are black people so violent? Because white people are so violent. You understand? But like I said, we got so many more scriptures to go into that's going to prove what I'm saying without me having to say anything at all. He's going to say something?
So I was gonna say, like, you look at these you look at these shows and these movies, you see, white men tell on himself a lot. Like he can't be at peace with anything. He can't, it's why he can't live forever. There's a show on Netflix, right, called Altered Carbon. Is where basically if you die, you got a backup body to keep living on forever. Right? And because because the white man's so evil, he can't just live forever and just let that be that and be at peace with that. Now he has to, do even more horrible things to other people to pass his time by, to make himself more entertained.
Right.
Now I mean, like, just what goes on that show. I'm gonna go into this. It's horrible what goes on in that show. What they do. But it's like I sat there and watched that show and I was like, well, this man can't live forever because he will always just kill because that's the only enjoyment he finds.
Right. Shit. Dang. That's heavy, art.
That was just, you know what I'm saying? Like I said in the show, like, you know what I'm saying? If you're poor, you're kind of looked at as nothing because you don't have the money to keep switching body to body, like these rich people can. Like I said, that
sounds like America to me.
That sounds like America. And I was like, this white man cannot be allowed to live forever because he would just keep killing.
That's why Isaiah 14:21 says, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of his fathers. Why? So that they do not rise and build cities and inhabit the land. You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord wants these people gone, man. They've been and this is not what I will say is this. It's not a cop out for Black people. We have a lot of accountability to take. You understand? Like, we are in this position because we broke our covenant. Can't no white man make us break our covenant. But because of who we are and the way that we are, we have followed them to break our covenant. But you still have to remember, and that's what I was going to bring up earlier. The sooner that we can understand that our oppressor is a predator that is constantly looking to kill us, then we can understand how to serve God. You can't understand how to serve God without understanding the same enemy that's taking this crafty counsel against you to stop serving God. You won't know how to serve God because he'll continually make you not serve God. That's it. And that's the hidden counsel. Why is it hidden? It's the hidden counsel because you don't know what the hell you're doing. They tell you abortion is legal. They tell you should abort your babies because why? You can't afford diapers. Diapers are that's the biggest goddamn. Listen, that's the biggest stigma around having babies. Diapers are too expensive. Baby clothes. I done had 2 babies in the past 3 years. I done had 2 babies. Diapers ain't that expensive. They're not that expensive. You can if you want to raise a child, you can raise a goddamn child. But the our oppressor tells you raising babies, it's the stigma that they put out there. Raising babies is so expensive. So what does a young Black girl that gets pregnant somewhere in some inner city, project somewhere think when she hears that and she gets pregnant? I gotta get rid of this thing. I don't have the money to support this baby. I can't afford diapers. I can't afford to buy clothes for this baby. That's that whole abortion thing for you to kill your babies. That is designed by somebody that's telling you to do so. Because I'm telling you, diapers ain't that expensive. And what I mean by that is this: they cost some money, but you're bringing a life into this world. If you want that life, if you want that baby, you'll get diapers. You'll have plenty of diapers. You understand? I'll leave that part out. But you'll have plenty of diapers and you'll have plenty of clothes. You'll be all right. Especially if you're in the UPK. If you're in the UPK, you don't ever have to worry about buying diapers if you can't afford them. Because we'll buy your diapers for you. You understand? Go ahead.
I'm saying, the problem with that is like you get so caught up in what they tell you that all these diapers are too expensive, or the baby formula is too low. There's alternatives to all these things, right?
Right.
You can get those cloth diapers.
That's what I was just going to bring up. Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up.
Cloth diapers. You can use certain milk. The instead of breast milk or Similac to feed your baby.
Right.
There are alternatives that they don't want you to know about.
Yeah, right.
But you
They
so caught
won't
up in,
tell you about
they won't
it.
tell you
Yeah.
about them. There's alternatives to it. Like, and I know because I've had kids. There are this you like they want to just have you focus on the diapers. I can't afford diapers.
Right.
Well, then get those cloth ones. Keep watching so you can afford to buy more diapers.
Even those memes that they put out, they put the memes out. They say it's the condoms right next to the diapers, and they say which one's more expensive. They take a picture. They say which one's more expensive. Basically saying you should wear a condom instead of going all crazy in a woman, right? Which is true. If you don't want a baby, you should take preventative measures. You understand? Your woman should get on birth control. You should wear a condom, whatever the case, right? But if you so happen to slip up and get that woman pregnant, just understand this: you're going to be paying for those diapers, and you're going to do it, and it's going to be all right. Because your oppressor's going to tell you it's not going to be all right, and there's a $200 way that you can get out of it by killing that child, right? That's that hidden counsel, that crafty counsel that they take against us all the time, and there's so many different ways because white women are not experiencing those problems. White women kill their babies because they want to have fun. They want to continue having fun. That's why. Black women kill our babies because they think they have to, because our oppressor has made it that way. So when abortion is being, and I forget who I was talking to about the whole Roe v. Wade thing. That whole Roe v. Wade thing is not being overturned for Black women. It's because so many white women are killing their babies because they want to have fun. Yeah. But initially, Planned Parenthood was established by Margaret Sanger to exterminate Black people. And now you see that it's being pushed that Black women shouldn't have children because they're too poor to take care of them. Go figure. Go ahead.
Like add one thing, like I've seen a lot of Black women also say that, it's because it's because of health reasons. I understand like the body goes through changes during pregnancy, but for a lot of you, majority of you, it's not for health reasons. It's because like the Oscar Project just poured out. But for more white women, it's because they want to keep being whores. Right. For Black women, you feel like you can't support the baby. Right. And then when you get told, well, you can just be celibate, you look at us like we're crazy. Right. But you don't want, that having sex is a responsibility. Right. If you're not ready to take on those consequences of that responsibility, you shouldn't do it. You should be celibate until you're ready to take on that responsibility. Yeah. Getting pregnant, having kids, all that is you being a responsible adult and holding yourself accountable to your actions. When you don't do that, you're just you're just being loose. You just want to have the fun. Fellas, if you don't want the baby, hey, you should keep your rod in your pants.
That's right. Damn right.
You should do that. Listen, I know people say, I can't feel good. It's like, nobody said you can't feel good, but know that pleasure that you feel from that, a baby is made from that pleasure. Right. That's the whole purpose of sex. It's procreation. Yeah. It's to make more people keep the line going. Right. If you can't really accept that and know that, you don't deserve to have a child. You don't deserve to be a parent. You should hang back and let responsible people, have sex and give birth to kids. Yeah. If you're not taking the appropriate measures, you should be letting down anybody unless you're ready to spend your life with them. Damn right. Damn right. I'm saying, the Bible tells you, that sex, marriage. So if you're not ready to be with that woman forever, hey, keep your legs closed, keep your rod in your pants, and go about your way. Mm-hmm. But in America, you live life by that paper. That paper means that you're married, even though that's just a contract between you and the government. Right. That's all I say.
Yeah, damn right. That's heavy as hell, and that's what our people do have to understand. You understand? And that's what you can learn from us. But we're going to teach you something that doesn't sound so good to hear. Like, damn, if I don't want to get pregnant, I can't have sex. And that's not to say that you can't, have sex and enjoy your wife. You know what I'm saying? Or for you women, enjoy your husband and things like that. And take the preventative measures. If you need to take birth control or whatever the case, or the man want to wear a condom, whatever the case, that's fine. But you have to always understand, which is what the brother was saying. You have to always understand that sex does make babies. So there's a possibility that one of those things can fail. Those contraceptives can fail, and you'll have a baby. That woman will get it. And you can't kill that baby because you made a mistake? No, you can't kill that baby. You understand? But that's when you learn from us. It's gonna start getting into the billions soon. But as many babies as, and I'm exaggerating, but not that much. Them babies is dying, man. And that's the number. Abortion is the number one cause of death for Black people. Think about that. Not the guns, not the drugs, not the overdoses, not random accidents, not old age, not heart disease. Abortion is the main killer of Black people.
About 400,000 a year. Like what's coming close to that? Nothing's touching that. Like think about it. Let's run up to 500,000. Talking about in 2 years we have 1 million more of us that we can open up businesses and pass down generational wealth.
Right.
I'm saying that's you need to look at it. 500,000 a year in 2 years. That's 1 million more people to add to our numbers. That we can prosper more in this country.
And here's what I'll tell you: if you are sad about those babies that got murdered at that school, you should be against abortion. You should be what they call pro-life. If you are sad about those babies being murdered because they were babies and they had the potential to grow up and live, that baby inside of these women's wombs that they're murdering with this abortion, they had that potential to grow up too. And you should cry for them just like you cry for them babies. That's what you should do. You should look at it the same way. But once again, our oppressor is so crafty and so cunning, he's going to make those two things be different. The fourth grader dying is so much different than this baby that's in that womb. It's a goddamn shame, man. This got to burn for that, man. This place has to burn. I was having a conversation about the lake of fire last night, and I was told the lake of fire is, hell, like the hell that that the Christians talk about. And I said, no. I said, the lake of fire is not some place that you go underground when you die. The lake of fire is this place on fire because it needs to burn for everything that is done against Black people. You just think about abortion by itself, and this Sabbath service was not supposed to be about abortion, but it's one of their crafty counsels that they took against us. Definitely that. This place got to burn for that, for those 400,000 babies a year. Millions of babies murdered since I think the 60s, 70s, something like that.
Something around there.
Millions of Black men and women that could build businesses. You don't know what they could do. Sure, maybe they could grow up to be a crack addict. Maybe they could grow up to be the next Black Bill Gates. Maybe the baby that you killed in the 1960s because you were allowed to have abortions, maybe he would have done what Elon Musk did, but before he did it. Maybe he would have built the Teslas. Maybe he would have something great. It's just the things like that you got to think about. You understand? But because of the crafty counsel of our oppressor, those babies don't get to do any of those things. You understand? It's terrible. All right.
You don't know what it's going to be like. Like the crafty counsel that they hold against our people is so strong. Like I at the security job that I work at, my coworker, I couldn't find out that he's a Mexican brother. He goes because he has his white mom. Like they feel like he calls himself white, and we had to talk, and about he feels like the white man get blamed for too much. Like, everybody blames the white man. When I showed him, God blames him too. God said he has to get rid of him. And I showed him
I want to know who blames white people for anything besides us. I want to know who blames.
That's what he's talking about. He's tired of all the Mexican family. Side of the family blaming the white man.
What Mexican blames white people? Mexicans have a white God. Their Mother Mary is white. I don't think Mexicans in the world don't blame anybody for anything. I don't know what the hell he was talking about to like it.
Yeah, well, you know, he
Yeah.
likes to argue.
Yeah.
But when I showed him, like, you know, I'm saying, like, no, white people are not going to be here forever. And I showed him in the Bible. He's like, well, if that's what I don't believe that, but these are the words. I just read it to you straight out the Bible because I put up the app on my phone. He's like, well, that's the guy that you serve. I don't want no part of it.
Hey, Lord be with the brother, man.
And I was like, no.
You want to be with the guy that kills babies? You know, go ahead. That's fine. That's the guy that you want to serve.
Yeah, and I was showing just because that crafty concept has him saying, like, you know, he don't even understand how powerful that scripture is. That, you know, that these people won't be around to confound you, confuse you anymore, make you feel like, you know, that you have to accept your white mom's side, that you have to denounce your Mexican father. That's what he does.
Yeah, and then the beautiful thing about like that whole thing with the interracial marriage thing, I know from experience. I know y'all can tell. I know from experience that whole interracial marriage thing is